unleash your free spirit, and especially to our guest today. And she is dynamic. She is such a positive person. And Ginny, could you introduce her, please?
Oh my goodness, absolutely my pleasure. Cindy is the host of Energized Living Today. It's an online course. If you are not connected to her, please connect with her. She says, and we all know about law of attraction, right? But whom are you attracting? Are you attracting the right kind of positive, cooperative people? Or I will not even say the kind of people you really don't want to be around you. So, energy draws energy. That is one of the mantras Cindy talks about. She can really help you to rewire your thinking process. She's called, by the way, this is the title given to her by people who have attended her courses. She's the energy coach. Yes, Cindy, we all want to know about positivity. We all want to know how we can attract the right kind of people around us. So, would you be kind enough? This is your time. Share with us for the next 10 minutes with our community. How do you propose us to get there? Welcome, Cindy.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This is such an honor and a privilege. And I want to say, Jenny, this I just want to bring this up for just a second. That is something that I'm learning about, but also we can't forget CI. That is collective intelligence. And when we connect in this manner, like what you're putting together here in such a positive and dynamic way, we have collective intelligence and we learn from each other. So I want to thank you for engaging in both. What I really wanted to talk about today is trusting your intuition. When we are in business and we are trying to be courageous, trying to connect with other people, trying to put out a message that is one that other people will resonate with, we have to use our intuition. And that takes trust. And I would say that is probably one of the hardest things that we have. Now, I want to back up for a moment. Story about my dad. My dad, he was an entrepreneur, and all of us kids are entrepreneurs. And he used to be on a job site somewhere. He owned a construction company. He'd be on a job site and he would just get a feeling. And all of a sudden, he would just say to the guys, I got to go. And he'd get home. One of us kids would be sick, sick or something, or hurt. There were six of us, or my mom would be in labor. And he would show up. And sure enough, he trusted that. And so he taught us kids, trust that. Always. And one of the things that we do is, I think, is we get so wrapped up in our to-do lists and thinking all the time that we forget to step back and trust our inner knowing. And that will guide you as much as anything, any left brain activity that you put on paper with a list and everything else, your intuition. I just want to invite everyone to engage in your intuition. Now, how do you know? Let me give you 3 ways that you can unleash the spirit of your intuition. And that is bed, bath, and busy. If you are stuck, if you are trying to create a new business opportunity, if you're trying to put together a new business plan, sometimes we get so caught up in the minutia of what's going on that we lose sight of our inner knowing on how to do things. And we become really, it's almost like writer's block, and we can't get to the next level. Well, bed, bath, and busy is how you unleash that ability to tap into your inner knowing. That means, and I am sure, Judy, I'm sure, Jenny, that both of you have had this. You've been in bed, just getting ready to go to sleep, and all of a sudden these great ideas come. They just float to the top, and you're going, oh my gosh, I don't have anything to write on. So the first thing that I want to invite everybody to do is always to keep your phone nearby so that you can record a message to yourself, or you can write something down just very quickly, little notepad that you have next to your bed. Really important to do. I remember many years ago, Red Skeleton, he was falling asleep and he had this wonderful intuitive idea, and he just thought, oh my gosh, that's great, I got to write it down. And so he grabbed his pad, he wrote it down. The next morning he got up anxious to hear or to read what he wrote, and on it said, write new screenplay. So what I want to say is, when you write it down, put some details. Don't forget a few details that remind you what the screenplay is going to be about, or whatever it is that your idea was. So don't just write down something general, but put a couple of bullet points so you remember. And when you do that, it actually triggers your thoughts so that you can remember what it is that you thought of, that intuitive hit that you got just as you were falling asleep. Remember, this is Bed Bath and Busy changes your brain state. And I'm going to talk about that in just a moment, and what causes that, if I have time. You let me know what my timing is. What about bath? You ever been in a shower and you go, oh my gosh, all these great ideas start coming, and these intuitive hits that you get, and just, I really feel like my community would love this, or that I could engage them like that. And what do we do about that? I mean, do you have something to write on in the shower? You will now, because there's something called Aqua Notes. And I would like to invite everybody to get Aqua Notes. You can just go over to Amazon and order it. It's just a little notepad that is water friendly, and it comes with a pencil, and just jot it down. And again, put a couple of bullets so that you have some information that you can draw on that'll take you back to that intuitive hit that you got. When you do this, you learn to trust your intuition. You learn, and it becomes easier and easier and easier for you to tap into that strength, into that trust. So the other one is busy. Out doing yard work, going for a walk, walking the dog. Again, all these creative ideas start coming up. I remember I was taking a writing class, and the instructor was James Patterson. Everybody probably knows who that is. Big time a writer, successful writer. And he said, 90% of my writing is when I'm walking. And the rest of it, I sit down and I get it all in my head and get to know my characters and who does what. And then I sit down and write it out quickly. But that first part, he is trusting his intuition, intuitive hits, by getting out there and getting busy doing something. Again, it could be a walk, it could be gardening. I get a lot of ideas in gardening when I'm out there gardening. So I would like to know from you two, if this has happened to you, Bed Bath Busy. Jenny, Julie, or Judy?
Absolutely. I love working with my intuition. And one of the things that I do is a lot of times I don't have the paper, or I'm not in a place with paper. So I actually use my electronic assistant, and I set a reminder for myself. And I say, remind me to, or remind me that I want, or a reminder that I know. And then my assistant will say, when do you want me to remind you? And I say, at 5 p.m., I want you to remind me. And then at 5 p.m., I get this note like, oh yeah, that's right. I need to realize that I had that intuitive hit to call someone. Because sometimes I think of somebody, and when I do call them, they go, oh, I was just thinking about you. And that builds up such a great relationship. Right, Guinea?
Beautiful. I mean, absolutely. What I like, Cindy, really a great idea. I've always had put up notepad next to your bed. I've always, but keep your phones. We always have it. I love this. Was a new thing I learned today. New thing I learned right now. Record it on your phone. I said, brilliant. We always have our phone and we can always record a message to our own selves, just audio message, because sometimes if I scribble, I will not be able to read my own handwriting in the morning, right? I don't know if it's happened with you or not. My scribbling notes, I'm saying, okay, Guinea, what did you write? I have no idea. Anyway, Mark has his hands up. Mark, would you be just unmute yourself and share with us?
Sure. Well, listening to what you say, as silly as this may sound, I've gotten some great ideas just from sitting on the toilet.
There you go. Busy.
Next to the bath, right?
Right. I used to do card tricks, and I had a book that I read and I'd thumb through it, and one trick that I may have overlooked before, but I saw it again sitting on the toilet and thought, oh, this looks like a good one to learn. So I'd do that.
That's beautiful. Wherever that happens to be, we have to be prepared for that. For me, it truly is in the shower. I get most of my intuitive downloads. I'm an intuitive channel, and I get a lot of information coming through, and I have to write as fast as I can, because for anybody who's familiar with the channel, the information doesn't come to you, it comes through you. So if you don't capture it quickly, it is gone. And you have to write fast.
Mhm.
So I want to talk just briefly about the brain states that we are in at this time. The first one, most people will know, the gamma state, and this is when we're brainstorming, when we're gathering like we are today. This is our brain is working consciously, and all kinds of cool information starts to come in. So you have, Jenny says one thing, she was talking about AI just a little bit ago, and that triggered a thought. So you start getting those links of thoughts. So that's the gamma. And then we have the alpha, and this is the alpha brain waves is actually a little slower. And this is the subconscious, that and theta. And that is, when you are relaxed, when you are creative, when you are lightly meditating, doing breathing exercises, and just calming your body and your mind, and letting those thoughts that you have, that constant mind chatter, just sink down into the solar plexus. And the solar plexus is where you get those intuitive hits that you go, oh, I feel something. I need to call so-and-so. They need me right now. So you start getting those intuitive things start bubbling up, and you usually will find it in the gut brain. There's actually a brain gray matter in the gut around the solar plexus, and that's where you're going to get that information. Trust it. Trust it. When you do that, and don't get just caught up all the time in all the random thoughts, your life is going to shift in the most beautiful, miraculous ways. I hope this has been helpful.
Yes, and Nick has her hand raised. Nick, did you want to share? Do you have a question?
Hi, I am in the library and I do have to hop out at 1:30, but I just loved so much what you said. I call it connecting to spirit. That's how I interpret it. And it's really, it's just so different to how I used to live. Like last year I was very much a go-getter. I had all my minds. I knew I had to be a speaker. And like this year, I'm very much, let me receive what I'm supposed to be doing next, and let me follow that instead of, and I'm also trying to learn how to stop arguing with it, because I used to like argue and think like I knew the best way, and I had to, so I'm also learning how to trust intuition and spirit and guidance and just flow in life in general. So I love what you said.
Beautiful. You're doing it exactly right. You've got it. And that is
beautifully said. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anik, thank you. Thank you for letting us hear your voice. Beautiful. Yes. Thank you. And library people, it's okay. Anybody else?
Mark has his hand raised.
Oh,
Yes,
okay, Mark.
I had a question. It seems that as much as I say I want to take time to meditate and do all that, I just find that I'm just constantly doing, and I am failing at finding the time just to relax and be calm and not waste the time. And I also sometimes feel guilty if I'm not doing something. I feel like I'm wasting time. How do I get past that and find the time to just get quiet, meditate, or just sit and let ideas come to me?
This is an opportunity for you to find your courageous insight, however you receive that. And Mark, I would say that you are probably, because you're a doer, you probably don't do well just sitting and meditating, but there's moving meditation where you go through a walk, through nature, go out in the woods. This is nature bathing, a lot of people will call it, and you just go out and let nature just be your guide. You hear a bird and you start meditating on what that bird does. Where has that bird been? What does the bird see from their vantage point? That's a meditation. And that takes you out of that monkey mind, that busy mind. And all of a sudden you feel yourself just relaxing, hearing the breeze through the trees. Whatever sounds you hear, just focus on that. And that way it takes care of that busyness, you liking to move, and yet you're slowing down the mind. And all of a sudden, these creative ideas start coming in.
I like that. Thank you.
Yeah. And Mark, you are a musician, right?
Yes.
So you can get that peace and that awareness through your music. I can really see how that you could connect that way. It doesn't have to be with a meditation, but what are the words saying for you? What is the rhythm? What is the rhythm doing to you? Things like that is going to get you into that state, but you just need to bring your awareness to it.
I like that too. Will, I will do that. I will do more of that. Thank you. I haven't done enough of. I mean, I play out. I rehearse with my partner, but it's been a long time since I've just sat on my bed or on my couch and just pulled out my guitar or ukulele and just played for the heck of it. Thank you. You've reminded me something I'd forgotten about.
You're welcome.
Beautiful suggestions. Yes, Mark. Thank you for
Yes.
asking an excellent question. Actually, that's something I was just thinking when you were saying. I was thinking about my dear husband, who happens to be my friend also, but he also is in the same mode. He's tick, 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 list,
Yep, yep,
action
yep.
step, action step, action
Guilty
step.
as charged.
Yes, he does not know how to relax for even 2 minutes. I'm the opposite. Yesterday only I was telling it, sitting on the deck, I said, Jolly, look at the birds, they are singing. I can first, but then for me, it takes like this. Poor guy, he sat down for 5 minutes, and he says, I'm done. I need to go inside. I'll do something. So I was just listening to the suggestions which Judy and Cindy said, and I'm going to prompt him today, hopefully, and again, because I love him dearly, but he does not know how to shut his mind by the checklist and the long list of things he has. He's a workaholic constantly.
I think your
So
husband
Mark,
and I are kindred spirits.
And part of that is, the male and the female brain are wired very differently, as we all know. And there is something called the corpus callosum that unites the two sides of the brain. And that pathway is actually bigger for women. So we can engage both sides of the brain. It's smaller for men. So men are more left brain dominant, linear, logical, and it's broke, I fix, hungry food. That is a man's way of being. So for the man's brain to change, it is a conscious effort. It can be done, and that can actually grow, but it does take a conscious effort initially. And when it does, beautiful things happen. Beautiful things happen.
Thank you.
So true. And another thing for me, because I've always had a hard time meditating and finding the time to meditate. I actually put a time on my calendar for 10 minutes to be quiet for 10 minutes and then to ask, what am I supposed to hear? What message am I supposed to get while I'm sitting here? And just asking it and, giving it out to the universe.
That's beautiful.
But I like what Cindy was saying and Judy was saying. Most of the time when we think about meditation, we think sitting down quietly at one place, but some people can do that. So it's about the mind. It's how do we get connected. So I love that idea that while doing things, you think, where did the bird come from? What is she thinking? And all those things will get you off your own list. I like that, especially for people like my husband. So, advantages, we all are wired differently. We all have different DNAs, and we don't have the same answer for everybody will work. For Mark, when you said it, it makes a difference. It makes a difference. And yes, we still have people joining us, so we are welcoming them. It's been a beautiful discussion. Anybody else wants to join in?
Any other questions or comments for Cindy while we have her here?
She's
I'm
a
gonna go ahead and put my information in there for everybody.
Oh,
There
awesome.
it is.
Thank you, Cindy.
My show is Energized Living Today. We meet twice a week. We are the Soul Gang. And for the Soul Gang that are here today, hi, everybody. I saw a lot of names that I recognize. And that's my email that you can reach me.
Oh, so we are joining a soul gang too. We did not know that, Cindy.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, soul gang. Everybody is a soul gang. Everybody's our friend. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What a gorgeous, Cindy, amazing, amazing thought process, amazing, wisdom behind your words. I can see. Nobody else wants to open up the mics? Okay, Judy, so you are in charge again, my friend.
Okay, yes, and we want to thank Cindy for being here, and Cindy for you giving us the technical along with the spiritual. I love that. That great combination. So thank you so much again.
I am one of those people too that I want to know how everything works.
That's
When I
awesome.
got sick, I went back and got my degree in whole health education so I could heal my body. So that's lifelong learner, Judy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much.